right. Assalamu alaikum, everybody. Hansa, Fatima,
Walaikum
Minha.
salam. Ustad, I just wanted to let you know, me and Maisha are joining from the same device.
Assalamu
All right.
alaikum. Yeah, so there's both of us on
Walaikum
here.
No problems at all. That's fine. Very good to have you. I think Aisha is missing. I'm
Yeah.
not sure if she's joining, but let's start. How are you, everybody? How are the last 2 weeks? All
Yeah,
good?
alhamdulillah. Yeah.
Very nice. Very nice. I was on the long travel. I went to Kuwait, and then from Kuwait I went to Muscat. From Muscat I went to Islamabad, back to UK, and then I went to Ireland, and then back to back to UK again. So it was lots of traveling going on. That's why I had to postpone the class. Okay, so I hope you got that time, inshallah, for some study or revision, whatever we have done so far. And let's take a very quick review of where we are. Remind me, did we complete the agenda last time we met? Do you remember?
I
Or
think
you
we
don't?
just,
Yeah?
I think we just did number, right?
You did number? Okay.
I don't
We
think
did
we
broken
started.
plurals, right?
Yes.
Okay. So we did broken plurals. All right. So we did the number. Okay, cool. That's fine. So we need to start with the gender study. Okay, cool. All right. If you remember, we did a story. This one, I believe. We did read this story, did we? Yeah? Do you remember? I think one of you read through it, and we
Yeah,
did
we did,
these
yeah.
meanings, right? So, so this is where we stopped last time. So, do you need a quick recap on what has been done so far, or shall I just start here? Tell me what works for you. I can
Do you
give you
mind
a
doing
very...
a small recap?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Jazakallah.
Okay, no problem. So, a very small recap, quick and sharp, inshallah. So what we are doing is the study of ISM. In the study of ISM, we said there are 4 properties of ISM, which are status, number, gender, and type. Then we picked up the status. In the status, we did 4 topics. First, we said forms of status. In this, we studied Rafa, Nasab, and Jar. And I hope you still remember the definitions. Rafa is a doer, Nasab is a detail, Jar is the word after off. Okay. And then the second topic under status, we did how to tell the status, right? So in this one, we did ending sounds and ending combinations. That's where you did the Muslim chart. Muslimun, Musliman, Muslimin. And Muslimatun, Muslimatan, Muslimin. Everyone remembers that so far? All good? Okay.
Yes.
Light versus heavy. We did that under the same discussion of status. So you can make any some light, and the default status is heavy. So Muslimun versus Muslimu. We said that you can remove the N sound or the noon. That's what we said. Okay, so how to make an ism light. Okay, we also discussed 4 reasons when ism is light. Okay, 4 reasons when an ism is light. And we said one of those reasons is when calling somebody. The second is categorical negation. Negation. The third is we said when the ism is partly flexible. And the fourth one you have not done yet. Okay? You haven't done the fourth one, so I'll leave it like that. And the fourth topic under the status we discussed was flexibility. If you remember, flexibility was about how easily ism shows the status, right? So we said there are isms which are fully flexible, isms which are partly flexible and which are non-flexible. Okay. In partly flexible, we said there are two rules. Rule number one, they are never heavy. Rule number two, they never take a kasra. These are two things we studied. Non-flexible, we said they normally end with alif and alif maksura. So alif is this alif and alif maksura is this one. Okay. So we did many tips on how to detect non-flexible, partly flexible. We also did 4 names of the prophets, which we said are always fully flexible. We said it was Muhammad, Saleh, Hud, and Shoaib. So as soon as you find these 4 names, you know that they are fully flexible. All other names in the Quran are partly flexible. Okay, and the exception is name the words, 3-letter words with sukoon in the middle, not middle. They are also fully flexible. So if you have Lut, for example, or Nuh, for example, they are fully flexible. So that's what we did in the flexibility, the status study. Okay, then we moved on to the number property. In the number, we said there are basically, there's a Muslim chart, masculine, that tells you the dual and the plural side of the story. Then you have Muslim chart, feminine, that is for the feminine, but same Muslim chart. And then there's a third type of plural, which is broken plural. Okay, and broken plural, we said, is the plural that actually breaks the original form of the word. Okay, either by adding something or removing something, it breaks the original form of the word. Like the example I think we did was, one of the example was kitabun is a book, and kutubun is the broken plural. It's books. Okay, so it just removes this alif, for example, takes something off the original form of the word, and then makes the broken plural. So that's why it's called the broken plural. And inside the broken plural, we said few things. We said any broken plural can be assigned singular feminine, any broken plural. But if the broken plural is human, then you can also assign it reality. Okay, like if you have rusulun, which means messengers, you could also assign it 3 plus masculine. Okay, that's what we did. We also said if there is a broken plural, if there is a non-human feminine plural, so like for example, ayatun. Let me write it. Ayatun. Ayatun, which maps to the Muslimatun, the Muslim chart. But this is non-human, it means signs. Okay, so this type of plural, although it's not broken, it maps to the Muslim chart, feminine. You can, because we said every non-human, every broken plural can be assigned. We also said that every non-human plural can be assigned singular feminine too. So this can be assigned singular feminine, or this can be assigned plural feminine. Plural feminine because it maps to the feminine Muslim chart. Okay. This was broken plural is usually a confusing topic, but over time, inshallah, it will become better. So we said one of the hints to identify a broken plural is it looks like singular, but means plural. Okay. Just like this, kutubun, it looks just like singular, like kutubun, kutuban, kutubin. but it means plural. So you cannot detect a broken plural without you given a meaning. If you are not given a meaning of a broken plural, or you don't have a vocabulary, then you can't identify it that easily. So until you are there, I will give you the meanings of those broken plurals. I think, if I'm not mistaken, we did 3 special words. We call them plural by meaning. Okay, and these ones were qawmun, nasun, and qarnun. Okay, so the first one means nation, the second one means mankind, and third one means generation. These are collective nouns. Okay, these are collective nouns. They represent a large crowd. Okay, qawm, nas, qarn, they represent many people, men, women, everyone included. Okay, so they are always marked plural masculine. That's the last topic in the number studies that we did. And after that, we went to that story, this one, and we just did this story, and we said everything mentioned in this story, every word, this is by default feminine because the Arabs said so. Because the Arabs said so. And that's where we stopped, I believe. Are you on the same page with me on this? Aligned?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah? Cool. Very good. Excellent. So now from this point on, we need to move forward on the gender studies. Okay, so on the gender studies, we have the gender and we have the type. Then you're done with the 4 properties of ism. And that's a fantastic achievement, because then we can move on to the study of fragments, multiple isms coming together. It will start to open up things for you. Okay. Please do remind me when there is Maghrib time, we need to take a break. And whenever you get tired, we'll take a break. After usually 1 hour of study, we'll take a break, inshallah. Okay. Cool. Let's start the gender studies, inshallah. So few things also I want to remind you. The status, in the status study, we said the default form of an ism, the default status of an ism is rafa. Okay, you have to remember that. So in case of gender, which we are starting now, the default gender of an ism is considered masculine, and unless it is proven feminine. So if you see an ism and there is no reason for you to call it feminine, you will just assume it's masculine. Okay, that's the base principle in the gender study. Every ism is by default rafa, and it's by default masculine. Okay, so in case of gender, there are 2 types. There are 2 categories you can divide it in. Categories. You can divide it in. One is the real feminine. Gender is about masculine, feminine, as you know, and the other one is about fake feminine. Now, real feminine is more about biologically feminine. All of you are real feminine, okay? Mothers, sisters, daughters, all of them are biologically real feminine. That's real feminine. You can't label them masculine. Okay, they are animals like cows, goats. There are real feminine things that are biologically feminine. You would of course mark them feminine. Examples in Arabic language would be like ummun, means mother. Okay, that's basically a real feminine. Or another example could be baqaratun. What is baqarah in Arabic? Do anyone know what is baqaratun in Arabic? Surah Baqarah. What does it mean? Any ideas? No? It's a cow. Baqarah is a cow. If you are an Urdu speaker, Baqarah is a goat. But in Arabic, Baqarah is a cow. Okay? So this is Baqaratun, meaning cow. Now these are real feminine, biological feminine. You don't need to find a way to make them feminine. Okay, they're always marked feminine. But there are some feminine isms which are fake feminine. Fake feminine means they are grammatically treated feminine. Okay, so those types of fake feminine, I will give you a few tips, and inshallah, that will help you identify those fake feminines. So one of the tips is that these fake feminines are usually ending with alif hamza, alif, not this, alif and hamza, like this. They are usually ending with alif maksura, like this, or they are usually ending with ta marbuta, like this. Where's the ta marbuta? Where's the ta marbuta? Okay. These three letters are usually at the end of these words. Okay. But keep in mind, this is not always the case. Okay. So some words are still ending with ta marbuta and alif maksura. For example, we're talking about Musa. Now, Musa ends with alif maksura, but you are not going to mark it feminine. It is biologically masculine, and you're going to mark it masculine. Just like that, Isa, for example. And there are some names, for example, um, Hamzatun. Hamzatun. Okay? So this is ending with the ta marbuta, the hijab, the closed ta, but you're not going to mark it feminine because it's a biological masculine. So where it's a biological masculine, you're going to mark it masculine. Otherwise, you're going to mark it feminine. Another thing you should keep in mind that usually these words, which are ending with these things, usually they are four-letter words. They're four letter or more, because there are three letters before these words. Okay, so there are three letters before these letters appear. Okay, for example, I'll give you an example here. Where's my mouse? Okay. For example, kubra. This is the word kubra. Okay. Now this kubra, before this alif maksura showed up, you have three letters. Kaf, ba, and ra, right? So these three letters are before this. So usually in these cases, you have these letters as the fourth letter. In case of ta marbuta, it can be different, but at least in these two cases, alif hamza and alif maksura, usually you have three letters before them, and they are usually fourth letter or even more. Okay, so those are the feminine isms. Okay. You have learned in your study of broken plural that broken plurals are marked singular feminine. That also tells you that they are all singular feminine. Okay, wait a second, font. Broken plurals are singular feminine. Okay, they can be marked singular feminine. And specifically talking about non-humans, they are for sure marked singular feminine. When you see proper names of places, when you see places like London, Dallas, whatever, Birmingham, Swindon, Reading, and so on. These are proper names of places. They are marked feminine. The common names of places like city, park, building, whatever, kitchen. These are common. These are common names. Hospital. Okay, these are all common names. They're not specific things. Okay. So these are not marked feminine. They are just marked masculine. But the proper names of places would be marked feminine. Okay. If you ever see body parts in pairs, like eyes, ears, hands. These are all paired, right? There are two of them in your body. So they are marked feminine, okay? And of course, last thing is the bas, because the Arabs said so. So we call them because the Arabs said so, the bas. Okay? So few tips, and that's the only way for you to understand what is the gender of an ism. And over time, with practice and experience, these things become simpler. Okay, so few points again. So isms ending with these letters, usually these are fourth letter. These are fake feminines. Isms which are broken plural, usually human, non-human, can be both. They are fake feminine. Proper names of places are fake feminines. You will mark them feminine. Body parts in pairs, you will mark them feminine. And the isms that we saw in the story and any other ism that comes in the Quran, which we will learn over time, inshallah, you will mark them feminine just because the Arabs said so. They will not indicate themselves as feminine isms, but just because the Arab said so, we will mark them feminine. So if you go back to your notes and look at, for example, any of these words like Shams, this one, so specifically. So Shams, you're looking at this ism and you have no reason to mark it feminine. It doesn't end with one of those letters. It's not a proper name of place. It is not body part in pair, right? It's not a real feminine. It's not a fake feminine. It doesn't fulfill that criteria. It just maps to feminine because the Arab said so. Because historically, traditionally, in the language, that's how they have been interpreted, they have been used. Okay, and there's no logical reason to do that, to basically understand why they are marked feminine. Okay, right. Let's go to your notes and let's see if we can review this in your notes. So all of this that I've told you is written here. So all of these things. Page 12 was your story. This one because the Arab said so. And then you have this small exercise. So let's look at this exercise a little bit. So you're looking at al-mukazzibina. This is done for you. Now in this particular case, this is mukazzibina. This is ina ending. Okay. And you have to find the number and the gender of this. Okay. Number and the gender, and you see that it maps directly to the Muslim chart masculine, like Muslimina. So because it maps to Muslimina, you say it's plural and it's masculine. Okay, that's what you're saying. Okay. Now, if you look at al-jibala, let's discuss this a little bit. Unmute yourselves and let's have a discussion around it because I want to hear your thoughts if you're able to comprehend this. So al-jibala, what type of ism is this? You're looking at an ism that looks like a singular ism, but it has a meaning provided to you. The meaning is provided to you. What is this? Any hints, any guesses?
Is it a non-human?
broken...
Spot on. Yes, it's a non-human broken plural. So when you see non-human broken plural, what number and gender do you assign to it? Non-human
Singular feminine.
Singular feminine. Very good. So this is going to be singular feminine. Okay, my machine is playing games, so it's slow, so I'm not writing here singular feminine. If you want to, please do write in your notes. Okay, same with wujuhun. Wujuhun, what type of word is this? Is it a plural, singular? What type of is it? Just speak out loud. I just want to hear you. Okay. because this is where you need to think and collaborate. So I don't have to solve this for you because I want you to solve it for yourselves. Okay, that's how you will learn best. Okay, so I need to hear you out. Wujuhun, what is your thinking? Share with me your thinking.
Is it
It's
the
a
same again,
non-human,
non-human broken plural?
Yeah, it's a non-human broken plural. And now we know when something is non-human broken plural, we assign it singular feminine. So again, it's a singular feminine. Okay. Nisa'a. Nisa'a translates to woman. So what should I assign? I'm looking after the number and the gender. What should I assign? Ask yourself, is it looking like singular and meaning plural? This is the first question. Yeah, it looks like singular and it means plural, right? Now, is it human or non-human? Right, okay, this is human. When it's human and it's a broken plural, then there can be two meanings, two answers. One, singular feminine, like with any other broken plural. Two, reality. In reality, women are plural and feminine, right? Everyone sees that? Any troubles there? All good? Good, okay. So silence means all good, okay? That's the rule in the class. Silence means all good. Okay, al-biharu, you're thinking again, you're looking at al-biharu, it looks like singular, but it means plural. Again, it's a broken plural scenario. So in the broken plural scenario, you'll ask yourself, okay, is it human, non-human? Turns out to be non-human, and you will assign it singular feminine. Okay? Cool, okay. Now, then what? Which one should we do? I will leave few for you. Don't want to do all of them in the class. A second. Okay. Now let's look at this one. Al-Yusra. Al-Yusra. So I want the number and the gender. Number and the gender. So let's see if you can come up with the number and the gender. Feel free to have a discussion between yourselves. Think about it. I'll turn on the light very quickly. So, what do you think?
Is this one of those fake feminine cases because it has the alif maksura?
Yeah, it is. Very good, because it ends with alif maksura and we see its kind of fourth letter. If you remove the al just means the, okay? It makes an ism proper. Okay, so the actual word is yusra. Okay, so yusra. So you have yasin and ra, and then you have alif maksura. So this is a fake feminine because it ends with a alif maksura. Very good. So it's going to be singular and feminine. Okay. Narin. What do you think? Narin. Masculine or feminine? I'm not going to answer. I'm going to wait for the answer. Okay. Masculine or feminine? Anyone. Don't worry if it is wrong.
Masculine.
Masculine. Okay. There's one opinion which is masculine. Anyone wants to challenge this opinion? Let me take you back here.
Also feminine because the Arab said so.
Yes, but it can't be both. Choose one. Choose
Feminine.
one. Feminine. Very good. Because the Arab said so. It looks masculine, right? So there's no reason from the fake feminine list that makes it feminine. But because the Arab said so, we live with that. Okay, and there's no reason for us to explain why. Okay, so that's why Narin is feminine and it's singular. Okay, al-ardu, al-ardu. Lots of the time it is used in the Quran. Lots of time, at many places. Al-ardu.
Is it again singular feminine because Arab said so?
Very good, because it's part of that story. We did that. Yes, it is singular feminine because the Arab said so. Now, al-jahima. Now, this al-jahima, I'll give you a tip. So the words which are representing the hellfire are usually feminine. Okay, just like the nar, just like the jahim, they are usually marked feminine. This word I do not think it's in your story above, but because it's representing the hellfire, it would be marked singular feminine in this case. Okay. What about al-malaikatu? This one. Thinking. Waiting.
Is it a broken plural again, but it's a human?
Yes, very good. It's a broken plural and it's a human one. Yeah, because it's one of the angels, humans, and jinns things. So now that we know it's a human broken plural, let's find the number and the gender.
So then would it be the plural masculine?
It can be plural masculine because it can take reality. Can there be another answer?
Is it the singular feminine?
Singular feminine too. That's also fine. It can have two answers. Okay, very good. Very good. I think you guys got the idea. That's very good. So try to complete this on your own. Okay, inshallah, it will help you. What else do we have? The next page. Okay, now this is just the exercise that you should be doing, inshallah, yourself as much as possible. Just doing the three properties: status, number, gender. Status, number, and gender. Okay, the S here means singular. Okay, so we'll do few and then I'll move forward because I would expect you to do it yourself. The more you do it, the better you will get at it. So it's like mathematics. When it's being solved in the class, everyone understands. When question is given to you, you struggle. So if I solve it for you, then it's not good for you. So I will give it to you, solving few, and inshallah you can come back in the class or the WhatsApp and ask questions there if you struggle with anything. So few of them. Let's do it here. Sayyi'atin, number 4. I want the status, number, and gender. Status, number, and gender. Let's see if we can figure that out. Sayyi'atin.
Is it just from the normal feminine chart? So plural, feminine.
Yeah,
Jar.
it is. Yeah. It maps to the Muslim chart perfectly. It was sayyi'atun, sayyi'atan, sayyi'atin, sayyi'atani, sayyi'ataini, sayyi'ataini, sayyi'atun, sayyi'atin, sayyi'atin. That's the feminine chart. So what is the status if it is the feminine chart?
Nasab.
Just nasab. It was muslimatun, muslimatin,
Oh, or jar.
muslimatin, or jar.
Yeah.
We do not know yet because we don't have the context. So
Yeah.
it's nasab or jar. it's plural, and it's feminine. Okay? Now, if I tell you sayyi'at, it means sins or mistakes. Okay? If I tell you the meaning of this, so you know that it is a non-human. Okay? If it is non-human, could it be assigned some other number or gender? We said when we were doing the broken plural, we said broken plurals can be assigned singular feminine. And as part of that discussion, we briefly mentioned and also revised today here. Where was it? This one. This is this example. Now, this example maps to the Muslim chart feminine. Ayatun, ayatin, ayatin. The default, we assign it singular feminine. But because it is non-human, any non-human plural can be assigned singular feminine too. Okay? So just keep that in mind. Sometimes in the Quran, it is applied like that. Okay? So this particular one can be assigned singular feminine too, but the standard is the plural feminine, just because it maps to the Muslim chart. Number 24, al-ghashiyati. Status, number, and gender. What is the status? There's absolute silence in the class. Unmute yourselves. Come on. Unmute yourselves.
Is it Rafa, female, singular?
Okay. Singular female, I agree. Why is it Rafa?
Oh,
What?
wait.
Yeah. So that O should take you to the right answer. So what is it? Is it Rafa?
Is it Nasib?
Is it Nasab? Where's my screwdriver? I have a screwdriver with me, girls. Okay. Are you sure? What was the ending sound of Rafa? Ending sound of Rafa. Remember the Muslim chart and the feminine Muslim chart, and remember how they started? What was the first word?
It's Jar.
It's jar.
It is jar. Very good. Very, very good. It is jar because the E sound or in sound is the jar sound. So perfect. It's jar, it's singular, it's feminine. And it's feminine because it's wearing this hijab. It's a tamarbuta. Okay? Very good. What about nafs, an-nafsu? Nafsu. 27. An-nafsu. Status, number, gender. Status should be super easy. It should come like this. You guys should be expert in status now. Right?
Maybe Rafa singular and then masculine.
Rafa singular and
Masculine.
sure, Fatima?
Yeah.
Think again. Is it the word which was in the story?
Would it be feminine?
Yeah, it's one of those words that was in the story. Okay? So this is the word which is marked feminine because the Arab said so. Okay? That's why we read the story, because when you see these words, you can map it. Okay? So it's one of those words that will map to that story. It will be marked feminine. I know it takes time to just get everything in your head and then identify the right answer, but that's the skill we are building. So you're currently in a process of building that skill, and you are expected to lose on things. Okay? And that's absolutely fine. Let me try you with number 30. Narun. Status, number, and gender. Status, number, and gender.
It'd be Rafa singular and then feminine again.
Very good. And why did you say feminine this time, Fatma?
Because it's in the story, so because the Arab said
Perfect.
so.
Perfect. Wonderful. And that's how you will remember nafsu too, right? I'll give you 21. Hada'ika. Now, hada'ika means gardens. Gardens. Okay? So let's try to do that. Status, number, and gender. Status, number, and gender.
Is it
Mm-hmm.
because it's a non-human broken plural? So it's singular feminine,
Correct.
and it could be nasab or jar.
Okay. Why could it be jar? Nasab, I agree. I agree with that. But why do you think it could be jar? Let's get that out of your mind.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, so that's just you're a little confused there, but be confident. It's the a ending. It's like muslima, right? So it is nasab. Okay. Unless I tell you this is partly flexible, then you know that the partly flexibles do not take the kasra, right? So their nasab and jar would look the same. Like Ibrahimu, Ibrahima, Ibrahima. We did that when we were doing the partly flexible, right? So this is nasab and singular and feminine. Perfect. Okay. Okay.
Sorry, Ustad, why was
Yes.
that partly flexible?
It is not partly flexible.
Oh, it's not partly
No,
flexible.
I'm saying if it was partly flexible, then you could say it's nasab or jar because the jar doesn't take the kasra. Okay, that's what I was telling. But it's not partly flexible, so we can be sure that it's nasab singular feminine. Okay, right. Which one? Tijaratan, number 12. Tijaratan. Status, number, and gender. What is the status?
Nasb.
Nasab, very good. What is the number?
Singular.
Singular, very good. And the gender?
Feminine.
Feminine, very good. And why is it feminine?
Because it maps to the feminine Muslim chart.
Correct. It maps to the feminine Muslim chart. And of course, it also has a Dhamma Buddha in the end. Very good. Very, very good. So try to do this exercise yourself. Inshallah, it will help you. I will just do one more with you. Okay. Al-Rijal. Okay, let's do number 7. Al-Rijal. So this one, Lir-Rajali. So that's what I'm after. Rijal means men, M-E-N, men. Okay? So status, number, and gender. Waiting, 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 waiting.
Is it because it's men? So the reality is plural male, but it's also a broken plural, so it's singular female.
Okay, so it could be both. I agree. It could be both. Reality and singular feminine. And what is the status?
Is it jar?
Perfect. Very good. Excellent job. Wonderful. MashaAllah. Very good. So do this yourself. Try it. If you get stuck on any, just shoot it on the WhatsApp. I'll try to help you, inshallah, there. Okay. If you complete it yourself, you will, inshallah, own these things. Okay. And they are very important for you to really understand this yourself and be, quite confident with these things, because as we move along, we will do fragment studies, and these types of concepts are going to play a crucial role there.
I'm
Okay.
sorry, Ustad. I just had a quick question. With the answers, is there a way we can check our answers to make sure they're right?
I can send you the answered sheet. Okay.
Okay, because just so I can check the answers from the previous lessons as well.
So I can send you the answer sheet, and you can check it against it. Okay. Right. Okay. So let's move on, inshallah. And that was gender, girls. This is gender. It's not too much in gender. That's what it is. The most complex property is the status property, okay, which you have done. And this is gender. And now we will move on to the last property of an ism, which is type. Type is also super, it's not difficult, it's easy. Type is about ism being common or proper. Okay, just like any other ism or noun in English, there's car versus the car. Okay, that's type. Okay, so the car is proper and car is common. So the default type of any ism is common, unless you prove it proper. The default status is rafa. The default gender is masculine. The default type is common. Okay, so unless you can prove it proper. And how do you prove it proper? There are 7 tips I will give you, and those 7 tips will help you understand if an ism is proper or not. Okay, the tip number 1. So if it's words starting with an al. The al in Arabic is the. Okay, so any ism that starts with an al is a proper ism. Okay, so this is pretty straightforward. The word starting with an al, just like you would expect any other name, for example, the Muhammad name or the Fatima, Ali, Omar, all of these are proper names, aren't they? So proper names are proper. That's why they are proper names. Okay, so if you ever see proper names in Arabic, they are always proper. You will always find pronouns as proper. We have not done pronouns yet. We will do in detail the pronouns. The pronouns are he, she, they, them, and so on. You, we, I, and so on. All of them are isms, and they are always proper. Okay? You will find whenever someone is called, when someone is called. For example, if I go in a marketplace and I call somebody and I say, "Hey, Mister," right? So if I say this, "Hey, Mister," now I do not know that person, I don't know his name, but I'm in the entire crowd, I'm calling somebody very, very specific without taking their name. Right? So when you call somebody, you make them automatically proper because you're talking about something very proper. Okay? It's not general anymore. So when you call somebody, that ism is proper. In Arabic, it would be something like Ya Muhammad, or for example, Ya Waladun, Ya Waladu. Walad means boy. Okay? Oh boy. Okay, so now you're talking about a specific boy that you're calling, and that is why that ism is considered proper. Okay, So we have done the word starting with an al, the proper names, the pronouns when we call somebody. Okay. Now the next one. The next one is the pointers. Pointers. Pointers are this, these, those, that, and so on. These types of words in Arabic are also proper. You have seen lots of these words in the Quran. For example, haza. You have seen hazihi, and we will do all of them in detail. Don't worry if you don't know them in detail yet. So these are just pointers that you need to keep in front of you. If you can't memorize all of this, that's fine, but you have the list. And over time, as we practice, this will become very much second nature to you, inshallah. So haza, hazihi, you might have heard zalika, tilka, ulaika, haulai. These are the words which are quite extensively used in the Quran, and they are called pointers or ism ishara, because you do an ishara. If you know, ishara means to point, right? So these are all proper isms, always and always. And when we do them in detail, then inshallah we'll discuss it in more detail. Okay. There's another type of isms in Arabic. They are called ism mawsul, and they are quite widely used in the Quran. Like you may have seen allazi or allazina. These types of words. These words are called ism mawsuls, and they are always proper and never common. Okay. I'm completely aware that I'm throwing a lot of information on you, right? And I don't expect you to just firm it up in this class. What I expect from you is you'll just take in for now, just take in, inshallah, and then as practice goes on, these things will keep on coming up, and as you apply them, you will be more comfortable with them. Okay. So right now I'm just giving you a list, just a list to keep in mind. Okay. And this last one is little confusing right now, but it will become easier as we go into the fragment study. The last one says that the word before of is proper if the word if the word after of is proper. It's like this, for example, if I say house of Allah, okay? So the rule says the word before of is proper. What is the word before of? House. Said this word is proper if the word after of is proper. Okay? The word after of is Allah. Because the word Allah is proper, it's a proper name, the house is also going to be proper. Okay? And when we do the fragments, this thing will become more clear. Okay? So this is just a list of 7 tips. The words starting with an al, proper names, pronouns, when somebody is called, pointers, ism mawsuls, the word before of is proper and the word after of is proper. That's the list you should have in front of you until you are able to just pick it up from your mind to identify if something is proper or common. This list is here in your notes. So on your page number 15, you have all of this. Words with an al, proper names, the one being called, pronouns, which we will do on page 18, inshallah, ism ishara, which is pointer words, haza, tilka, and so on. We'll do that as part of this course. Ism mawsuls, allazi, allazina, ma, man, all of these. The words before of, if the word after of is proper. Okay. Any questions on this so far? Usually students are just overwhelmed when I normally give them the lists. There are 2-3 lists. There's something to remember about gender, there's something about proper versus common, then there's flexibility, then there's broken plurals. And students are like, Ustad, I'm all over the place. How can I remember all of this? If that's the feeling you're getting right now, that's absolutely normal. Okay? This is how it is. Okay? And it will get better. Stay with me on this. Okay? If there are questions, please do shoot. Please let me know, and I'll answer them. Okay. So these are just examples from the Quran, and I'll quickly walk through these examples so you can get a feel of how the proper is working. So this word haza, this is a pointer word. It means this one. Okay. Haza means this. This is always proper. Okay, the pointer words are always proper. It's part of that list that we have just seen. Okay. The word as-suhufi, it is proper because it has an al. Hey, here's the al. See? This is the al. Al-ula is proper because it has an al. Okay? It has an al. So everything has a reason why it is proper. Okay? Now, in case of this, suhufi Ibrahima. Now, this is a scenario which you will right now won't understand in detail, but I'll just explain this to you. So this Suhufi Ibrahima actually translates to scriptures of Ibrahim. Okay, and we will learn very soon, inshallah, how. Okay, because it translates to this, the word before of is scriptures, which is Suhufi. It's a broken plural. Okay. And the word after of is Ibrahim, which is this one. Now the rule says the word before of is proper if the word after of is proper. So because Ibrahim is proper, it makes the word Suhufi proper. Okay? When we learn this relationship between the word in our fragment studies, probably maybe in this class today, right? Then inshallah you will understand this better. Okay? This word Musa, for example, this is proper because it's a proper name. Ibrahim is proper because it's a proper name. Anta. Anta is a pronoun. It is you. And when we do the pronouns in detail, you will get it. Okay. Haza is a pointer. It's proper. Al-baladi is proper because there is an al here. Okay. Are you with me, guys? This absolute silence, so I have no clue if you're with me. Are you with me? Okay, good. Thanks, Fatima. Very good. Stop me if it is getting too much, okay? In next 2-3 minutes, we'll take a quick salah break for Maghrib, and inshallah, continue afterwards. This term, Rasulullahi, the term Rasulullahi is this one, messenger of Allah. If the word after of is proper, it makes the word before of proper. So the word after of is Allah and the word before of is Rasul. So it will make Rasul proper. And the word Allah is proper because it's a proper name. Same scenario here. Naqatullahi means, how should I tell you this? This one. The she-camel of Allah. Naqata is she-camel. Okay. Now the word after of is proper, so it makes the word before of proper. And inshallah, very soon you will be able to do it without looking at this translation. Right now I'm helping you to understand with the translation because you have not done this relationship between the words. Okay. This one is allazi. Allazi is ism mawsul, which is part of the list. You have no clue what ism mawsul is, what they do, where do they come from. You just do not know. Your ustad has told you, hey, when you see the ism mawsul, just mark them proper. Okay? That's what you know right now. Okay? So you'll mark it proper. Malahu is also proper because malahu means his wealth. And if you flip it, you are actually saying wealth of his. And his is a pronoun. And pronoun is always proper. So if the word after of is proper, the word before of is proper. So he's saying wealth of his. That's how we are saying it. Okay. And then we're saying if the word after of is proper, because our list says the pronouns are always proper here. Number 4. Okay. So it makes the word before of proper. So mala is wealth and who is a pronoun, which we will do inshallah later on. So that's why it is proper. Okay. Good. So from this point on, this is where you have done the 4 properties of ism: status, number, gender, and type. You've completed that topic of 4 properties of an ism. And after this, there's lots and lots and lots of exercise. Okay? Apply it. So in the next pages, page number 16, you have to do common or proper, if an ism is common or an ism is proper. And then you have this exercise where you have to do all 4 properties: status, number, gender, type. Complete this entire exercise, the 57 questions here. Okay. And then we will move forward, inshallah, with much more detailed study of other topics. So once you've done this exercise, you will, inshallah, be very comfortable with these 4 properties. We'll do some today in this class, and then, inshallah, I'll move on to the next topic. Let's take a break. How much break do you want? 5 minutes? 10 minutes for Maghrib? What works for you? Tell me. 5 or 10? Okay, if you don't tell me, I'll give you 2 minutes. 5 or
We have 10
10?
minutes.
10 minutes, yeah.
Okay. Otherwise, I was giving you 2 minutes. Okay, 10 minutes break. Inshallah, we see each other at 6:15 p.m. Okay? Inshallah, see you soon. Assalamu alaikum. Okay, everyone, give me thumbs up if you're back. When you're back, give me thumbs up. Okay. All right. Hansa, Fatima, got your thumbs up. Thank you. Okay. Minha, please tell us when you're back so we can start. Inshallah. Okay. All right, so let's start. So this is our third lesson, okay? So the third lesson, and we study every time 2.5 hours, okay? And this would mean about 7.5 hours of study so far, okay? After today's session, you would have completed 7.5 hours of study of Arabic language. When I normally run this course, the class is 1 hour, okay? So you have done right now, today, what you've done up to this point. So you have done 2 classes before, which is 2 into 2.5 hours, plus you have done about 1 hour up to this point, which is equals to roughly 6 hours of study. Okay? 6 hours of study. If I normally run this course, so that is 1 hour class, means what you have done in about 2.5 classes, students would do in 6 classes. 1 hour per week. This would mean 6 weeks. Okay? So what you have achieved, mashallah, in 3 weeks, students would normally achieve in 6 weeks with 1 hour per week class. Okay? So what you have achieved, do not underestimate that. Okay? For 6 weeks, students usually have no clue what they're doing. Students have no clue why are we doing status, number, gender, type, all of that stuff. Because they're just learning, the application is not really visible. Okay? So because your class is more of a fast track model and we are doing more hours in less in less number of days and weeks, so you have reached that point where you have completed these 4 properties fairly quickly, okay, in just 2.5 classes roughly. Okay, so that's a great milestone, which is usually done in 6 weeks time. So very well done on that. Okay, all of you. So what we will do now is do some exercise. Okay, I will not do all of it, of course, just like always, just to make sure that just to make sure that you have understood what I have taught you so far. And I'll leave those exercises for you to complete, and inshallah, I will provide you the answer sheets so you can compare your answers. In any case, feel free to send questions on WhatsApp. I'm very happy to answer you on WhatsApp as well, okay? If you have any confusions, that is not a problem at all. Let's start with this one first. This is page number 16. Now, in this one, all you're doing is common or proper. Is this common or is this proper? That's what you're doing. Okay, and whatever your reasons are to call it common or proper. Remember, an ISM by default is common. Okay, so I will just pick few, and inshallah we'll see if you can answer that, so I can be sure that you have understood what I meant. Okay. So my first question, and please open up your mics, unmute yourselves, feel free to speak and coordinate. The more you engage in the class in terms of verbal engagement, the more I know how you're taking all of this. Okay, so my first question is number 3. Nuhan, is it common or is it proper? What is this? Nuhun, common or proper?
Is this proper?
It's proper because it's a proper name. It's Nuhun, Nuhan, and Nuhin. Okay, it's proper. Very good. What about Annasi? Common or proper? Number 6. Common or proper? Number 6 in the second column.
Maybe proper.
It's proper, and the reason is?
Is it words with al?
It's a word with an al. Very good. What about Fir'aun? Fir'auna, number 8. Common or proper? Fir'auna. Is it a proper name? It is a proper name. Okay? It's a name in the Quran used, Fir'aun. It's a proper name. Therefore, it's proper. Okay? Let's do number 12. Narullahi. Now, nar is fire, and the word Allahi is the word Allah. So, is naru common or proper?
Proper.
Proper. And which rule applies here? If the word if the word after off is proper, the word before off is proper. Very good. Very good. Ashabul maymanati. So the word maymanati, al-maymanati, common or proper?
Proper.
Proper, because it has an al. Okay, let's do number 14. Mu'minaini. Common, proper? Common, proper. Common, proper.
Is it common?
It is common. Very good. It's not a proper name. It doesn't have an al. It's not a pointer. It's not a pronoun. It's not the word before off if the word after off is proper. It's not allazi, ma, man, allazina, ism mawsul. It's not none of those. So it's just the common ism. Okay? What about wujuhun, number 17? Common or proper? You guys are solving it. I'm not solving it. I'm not going to solve it. You guys should solve it. Come on. Tell me. Common or proper?
Would it be common?
Common. Very good. Very good. Okay. So complete this on your own. I will share the answer sheet with you on WhatsApp, okay? So you can compare your answers. Just like this, this is the last exercise for the 4 properties. You have to do the 4 properties for all of these words. Status, number, gender, type. It will include everything. Everything. Flexibility, broken plurals. It will include light versus heavy. Everything is coming together here in these, I think, 56 or 57 questions. Okay, so 57 questions. So it will summarize for you the entire thing. Okay, so let's do few here, and inshallah, I'll leave the rest for you to be done on your own. Okay, so let's start with number 10. Zira'i, that's what I'm looking at. I want the 4 properties of this ism. Zira'i. So what type of ism is it? Is it, I have never seen an ism that has a sukoon in the end. Have you? Do you have any clue what's happening here? What is going on here? So I'm after the status, number, gender, and type. Do you remember when an ism can have a sukoon in the end?
Is if it's a light ism.
Yes. Very good. It is a light ism. And what was the full form, the heavy form of this ism?
Zira'aini.
Zira'aini. Very nice. So status or number, status of this ism, what could it be? Aini ending.
Nasb or jar.
It's nasab or jar. Very good. Now let's talk about the number and the gender and the type. So it's nasab or jar. Is it singular, dual, plural?
Dual and
It's dual.
masculine.
It's masculine. What about the type? Common or proper?
Common.
Common. Very good. Very good. Good job. Okay, some of these words that are given here, they are broken plurals, but you are not given the meanings. So if you're not given the meanings, just solve them the way you see them, because you would not know they are broken plurals. Okay, so your answer wouldn't be wrong. For example, al-anhar, for example, this is rivers. So if you were to solve this, you would probably say it's rafa and it's singular and it's masculine and it's proper. Okay, that's what you would say, because the meaning is not given to you. But actually it's not masculine. It's because non-human, broken plural, so it is going to be feminine. Okay, if you do make that mistake and your answer does not match and your answer says singular feminine, then you would know that probably this is a broken plural, or ask me that question on WhatsApp and I'll answer you that. Okay, so your idea is basically to completely solve this yourself, inshallah, before the next class. And inshallah, if you do that, you will own the 4 properties. Are you comfortable with this assignment, everyone? Are you okay to do this on your own before the next class? Very good. Okay, excellent. So now, because you have done the 4 properties, we can go a little bit more advanced. Okay, let's move forward. So in every language, there's a construct that every language has. So the language has letters, which you know, the alif, bas, and das of the world, the A, B's, and C's. And those letters help you make words, which you are doing now, the isms, the fi'ls, and the harfs. Okay, the words come together and they make fragments, or some call them phrases. Phrases are less than a sentence. They don't give you complete meaning. And then multiple phrases come together to make a sentence. Okay, these sentences come together to make paragraphs. These paragraphs come together to make, well, okay, sections. Multiple sections could come together and they make chapters. Chapters come together and they make, for example, a topic. I don't know, if you're studying physics, so thermodynamics may be split into 3 chapters, right? So there's one topic or theme, you might want to call it, for example. Okay, and these theme could be distributed across maybe books, a series of books. Okay, so that's how usually every language is structured and works. So what you have known already is the letters. What you started with in this course is started the study of words, where we define the ism, fi'l, and harf, and we did a deep dive into the ism studies, 4 properties, and everything. Now you've done the ism side of the story for the words, and now we are moving into fragments. This is where we are. Okay, call it fragments, phrases, whatever you want to call them. Okay, so that's the study we will start. Now this study is going to be about multiple words working together. It's not going to be about single word, just like you were doing now. You were looking just one word and trying to find status, number, gender, type. Now you have graduated from there and you're going into the multiple word world. Okay, this is where inshallah things will open up more for you, and maybe they will also start to make more sense why you did all of that. Okay, so this study requires you to have good ownership of what we have done so far in terms of 4 properties. Okay, so multiple words working together. This study in English is, of course, grammar. In Arabic, it's called nahu. It's called the study of nahu, when multiple words come together and start to make sense. And you have multiple types of scenarios here. For example, that like we were discussing in few examples, house of Allah. These are multiple words coming together. It is giving you some information, house of Allah, but it's not actually giving you full information. So house of Allah, what? Okay, is great. Now you have full information. Okay, so house of Allah is great is a sentence, but the house of Allah itself is a phrase or a fragment inside that sentence. Okay, like indeed you. Okay, indeed you what? Are tall. Right, so indeed you is a phrase, and it does not give you full information, it gives you partial information, and it's part of a sentence. That is another fragment. Okay, so for example, blue car, again, it's an incomplete information, is fast. Now, is fast makes it a sentence. So this blue car is a phrase which is part of a sentence, but not the whole sentence, and it's a phrase. These types of things are fragments. Now, they are composed of 2 or more words coming together. Now, what we are going to do now is a study of ism-based fragments. Okay, we are going to do 5 fragments in this course. Okay, 5 major fragments used almost all over the Quran. Okay, and your understanding of the ism is going to play a crucial role. Okay, now let me start with the first fragment. Okay, let me start with the fragment called Mawsuf. What's the sequence in your book? A second. No, let me start with the one that is in your book first. So let me start with Idafah. This is the first fragment we will do. It's called Idafah fragment. Okay. Now, what is Idafah fragment? So Idafah fragment is a fragment that normally gives you an off meaning. Okay. Off meaning. This is an off construct. Just like the example we did, house of Allah, the possession relationship. Okay, so house of Allah, the car of Fatima, the house of Hansa, the bicycle of Minha, and so on. Right, so this type of off relationship is usually coming from the Idafah construct, but that's not its only job. But primarily, it's quite widely used to construct an Idafah by producing an off meaning with something. Okay, and this is produced by combining 2 isms together. There are a few characteristics of this Idafah fragments. which I will now teach you. Now, within an Idafah fragment, there are two components of Idafah. Two components of Idafah. The component number one is called mudaf, and the second one is called mudaf ilay. What is it called? Mudaf and mudaf ilay. Okay, there are two components. Every Idafah is made up of these two components. They cannot be Idafah if one of these components is missing. Okay? Now let's understand what is a mudaf and what is a mudaf ilay. The mudaf is a word before of. Okay? It's a word that comes before of. Okay? For example, in house of Allah, the word house is mudaf. Okay? Opposite to that, mudaf ilay is the word after of. Let me take it to the next page. Okay? So the word Allah in this case is mudaf ilay. Okay? So the mudaf and the mudaf ilay. And whenever you find a mudaf, it must have a mudaf ilay. Okay? They go hand in hand together. So in case of mudaf, you have some, for an ism to be mudaf, there are certain criteria this ism has to fulfill. Okay? So without fulfilling those criteria, ism cannot be mudaf. So what makes an ism mudaf? So an ism has to be light, and that's why you studied the light isms. Okay? So ism has to be light, or rather must be light. Okay? And ism cannot have an al. Right? These are two criteria. So when you find an ism that is a light ism and it does not have an al, then you are quite likely looking at a mudaf. Okay? It's probably a word before of. Okay? For mudaf ilay, it's a word after of, and there's just one requirement for mudaf ilay. Okay? It must be jar. Oh, Arabic keyboard. Oh my God. Must be jar. Mudaf has to be light with no al, and the mudaf ilay has to be jar. Is that much clear? Thumbs up if it's clear. If everyone is with me, thumbs up. Okay, okay. Hansa, your side, thumbs up or not? Thumbs down? All clear on your side too? Very good, okay. So basically the formula that we are building is the following. We are saying light no al, light comma, no al, okay, and followed by jar. This is the statement you are remembering, okay? Light no al and followed by jar. The first part, light no al, applies to mudaf, and the second part, followed by jar, applies to mudaf ilay. Okay? Now let's do an example. So I have an Arabic word baytun, and I have another word Allah. The word Allahu. Okay? So I want to construct an Idafah fragment between these two words. An Idafah fragment is like the house of Allah. That's an Idafah fragment. It's an of relationship. The house is a word before of, and the word Allah is the word after of. Okay, so the house has to be light, no al, and the word Allah has to be in jar status. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to first pick up the word baytun and I'm going to conform it to this criteria. Light, no al. So is it light? No, it's not light. Okay, because if it was light, it would be baytu. So I make it light. I remove the tanween, made it a single accent, and it now becomes light. So does it have an al? No, it does not have an al. So it fulfills the criteria of light, no al. So I'm potentially looking at a mudaf. Now to prove it's a mudaf, it must have a mudaf ilay. And mudaf ilay is a word right after. Right after. There is no distance between them. There is no other word that can come between them. So they must be right adjacent to each other. Okay, as soon as you see mudaf, you will see a mudaf ilay. Okay, so the criteria for mudaf ilay is that it has to be in jar. Must be in jar. So I pick up the word Allah and I change it from rafa to Allahi. So Baytullahi. So now I have this formula. Light no al applies to Baytu, and the word Allahi applies to the word Allahi applies to the mudaf ilay. So we are looking at an Idafah construct. Okay, so this Idafah construct is going to produce an of meaning. Okay, the word of in Arabic does not exist. You have to decode that word of through the Idafah construct. So when you look at the word Baytu, you're going to say, okay, it's house. And when you look at the word Allah, you're going to say it's Allah, okay. But then you spot that this is light and no al, and it's followed by jar. It means between these two words, you're going to have an of relationship. Okay, because that's the principle of Idafah. Okay. Now, another point that you will note that we learned, if a word after of is proper, what does it do? It makes the word before of proper. So in the mind of an Arab who is looking at Baytullahi, Baytu is proper. But in the mind of an English speaker, if somebody is looking at a house, he's not calling it proper because it does not have what? The. So you would put the in English translation. Are you guys with me? Thumbs up if you're with me. Okay. You get it? All clear? Good. Excellent. That is your Idafah construct. Okay, light, no al, followed by jar. Now you're talking about two different words coming together, and you're talking about why an ism is made light. So you remember we did the 4 reasons why an ism is made light. One of them was when calling somebody. The second one was categorical negation. The third one was partly flexible. And the fourth one I did not give you. I told you that you don't know, but now you know. Okay, when the ism is mudaf. Okay, when a ism is mudaf, it is light. These are the 4 reasons when an ism is made light. Okay, now let's see a few examples. Now I want you to help me with this construction a little bit. So I want to say house. Let's say I want to say the book of Ibrahim. That's what I want to say. Okay? And I want you to unmute yourselves now, okay? Because you're going to have to speak a little bit. So, the book of Ibrahim, okay? So the Arabic of book is kitabun. And of course, the Arabic of Ibrahim is Ibrahim. Okay? These are the two words we're talking about. Now, I want to say the book of Ibrahim. Which one of these words must be a mudaf? Kitabun or Ibrahim?
Idafah.
Kitab. Very good. Because it's a word before of. What is the criteria kitabun has to meet?
No al, and it must be light.
No, Alan must be light. Let's make it in that form. What should it be then?
Kitabu.
Kitabu. Very good. Okay, cool. So now we have kitabu as no al and it is light. So it's potential mudaf. Now the next criteria for mudaf ilay, what is it? Mudaf ilay should
It must be in jar status.
It must be in jar status. So the next word, which is Ibrahim, is a mudaf ilay and it has to be in jar status. So let's say, what is the jar form of Ibrahim?
Ibrahima.
Very good. Ibrahima. Why? Because it's partly flexible. It doesn't take kasra. Right? It does not take kasra. Now, when you look at Ibrahim and I ask you to give me the 4 properties of Ibrahim, you will tell me it is jar, it is singular, it is masculine, and it is proper. If you did not know this rule, you would say it's nasab or jar. Now the context is telling you what is exactly the status of Ibrahim. You with me on this, all of you? Yeah? Very good. Very good. Let's do another example. So the same example, let's say the book of Luth. So book we know it's going to be kitabu as a mudaf, light no al. And now we have to make it followed by jar. What should I do with the word Luth? How should it sound like in the jar status?
Is it Lutin? Or?
It is Luthin. Very good. And why is that? Because it's a 3-letter word with the sukoon in the middle, which is always fully flexible. Okay? Kitabu Luthin, meaning it's the book of Luth. Okay? Just like Kitabu Muhammadin, the book of Muhammad. If you do the book of Musa, it's going to be Kitabu, just like that. And the word Musa, because the word Musa is non-flexible, it just remains the same in every case. Okay? You can't change it and make it jar in one way or the other. It will look the same. And now the context is telling you, because kitabu is light and no al, and it has to be followed by jar. That context tells you this word Musa is in jar status. Okay? That is an Idafah fragment used a lot in the Quran. Okay? Okay. So you have in the Quran Rabbu al-Alamina. Rabbul Alamina. Alhamdulillahi Rabbul Alamin. Rabbil Alamin, Rabbul Alamin, Rabbal Alamin, doesn't matter. right? So whichever status, okay? So Rabbul Alameen. Now in this case, the word Rabb is light and no al, mudaf. And it must be followed by jar. Up to this point, you knew Alamina could be nasab or jar, right? Because that's all you knew, because you didn't have the context. But in this case, you can identify it as an idafa construct. Say, hey, Rabbu is mudaf and Alamina is mudaf ilay. Okay, because it's a mudaf ilay, Alamina is going to be jar, it's going to be plural, it's going to be masculine, and it's going to be proper. With me on this? Clear? Good. Very, very good. Very, very good. Okay. Let me take you to the Quran a little bit. Let's see some Quran applications. Let's start with Surah Fatiha. So I think that's easier. Okay. Okay, so we are going to focus on okay. You know what? I've already done this example. So Rabbil Alamin, that's exactly the same example I just did. So let's skip this one. So let's do another. Let's do another surah. So Al-Munafiqun. Let's do first 4 ayahs. Okay. So now I'm going to highlight few things, and you are just going to help me understand if you think this is an Idafah fragment or not. Okay. So إذا جاءك المنافقون قالوا نشهد إنك لرسول الله. Ignore the first lam for now. Just focus on Rasul Allahi. So what you're looking at, you're looking at two isms. One is Rasul and the other is the word Allahi. Right? So is the word Rasulu light and no al? Yes or no? I want to hear it. Yes. Light no al fulfills the criteria of mudaf. It can't be mudaf, proven mudaf, until you have the next word in jar. Do you have the next word in jar?
Yes.
As mudaf ilay?
Yes.
Yes. So the Rasulullahi translates to the messenger of Allah. Okay, it's an of construct. It's an idafa construct. Okay, let's look at this one. Sabilillahi. Now I'm looking at the word sabili. Do you think it's mudaf or not? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, it is mudaf. Light, no al. Okay, and it is followed by jar, which is mudaf ilay. The word Allahi is mudaf ilay. What was meant by sabil? We did this word somewhere. Do you remember? What was its meaning?
Say path or way.
Yeah, path or way. Exactly. Now, can you translate Sabilullahi?
The way of Allah.
The way of Allah or the path of Allah. Very good. And that's where the of comes from, right? So this of construct. Idafa, right? Good. What else? What else? Okay, there are a few others that I see, but I have to teach you a few additional things there. Okay. You got the idea, right? So let's go on and do things further. Okay. So that's Idafah, but Idafah also has some related topics. Okay. So Idafah, where is it? Where's the, okay. Right. Idafah can be of three types. Three types. So one is between normal isms, like you have seen. Any two isms, which are normal isms, can be fully flexible, partly flexible, and so on. Okay, the mudaf can be in any status, rafa, nasab, jar, but the mudaf ilay will always be jar. Okay, there is no distance between them. There is no long distance relationship in the words. It's always immediate. They're together always. Okay, and so the first category of idafa that we have done is between the normal isms. There is a second category of idafa that is called idafa with special mudafs. Now we have done the mudafs, but these are kind of special mudafs, and there's something special about them. And I'm going to explain to you now what is special about them. There are a few words which are in your notes. Skip this page for now. The pronoun page, we'll do that little later. Okay. So you will go right after the pronouns in the Idafa construct. This is page 21. So this is where your rules are explained. What is a mudaf? Light and no alif lam. Mudaf ilay, which is always jar. There is no long distance relationship. Okay, the last property of mudaf type is dictated by mudaf ilay. Okay, that's a good point. So when you look at the idafa like this, for example, kitabu Ibrahima. So we said the word before of is proper if the word after of is proper. So the type of the word kitab is dictated by the word Ibrahim. That's what it means. The type of mudaf is dictated by mudaf ilay. Okay, if I give you another example, just to explain this a little bit more, I say a book. If I say a book of a boy. Okay, so book is kitabu. Okay, and a boy is waladun. Boy is waladun, and in this case, it's going to be jar because it's an idafa construct and it's a mudaf ilay. So it would be kitabu waladin. Now, in this case, this waladin is not proper. It is common. It's just a boy. Okay, so in this case, the kitabu will also be considered common, because if the word after of is proper, only then the word before of becomes proper. Otherwise, the default is common. But in the above cases, the kitabu would be proper. That's what this statement is saying. The last property of mudaf, which is type, is dictated by the mudaf ilay. Okay, both the mudaf and the mudaf ilay should be isms. Okay, you cannot have mudaf ilay between harfs and isms, or fi'ils and isms, or fi'ils and harfs. You can't have it. It's purely an ism based fragment. Okay, so we have done one kind of idafa, which is this one of translation, which is this, like this, imam al-masjidi, the imam of the masjid. There's another one which is special mudaf, which I wanted to show you. So these are few isms. Okay, so you should keep these isms in your mind. Okay, now these special mudafs, they are called special mudaf because they always show up as mudaf. Okay, so they will always show up as mudafs, and they would expect a mudaf ilay after them. but they do not necessarily give you an off meaning. The first category that we did was the off meaning. Now this one in Idafah is not necessarily off meaning. So you don't say above of something, or before of something, or with of something. So these are designed, these are built in a way that they do not give you that off meaning. Okay, so these words, fawqa, above, qabla, before, or just look at the opposite. Tahta is below, fawqa is above. Ba'da is after, qabla is before. Okay, in the ma'a, khalfa is behind, amama is in front of. Quddama is right in front of. The difference between front of and right in front of is the distance. Right? So if somebody is in front of you, but he's at a distance, so that's amama. Okay? And when somebody is right in front of you, that's quddama. Okay? Same difference, khalfa and wara'a. Okay? So khalfa is behind and wara'a is usually right behind you. Okay? Hawla, around, surrounding, ladun, especially from, baina is between, duna is beside, other than, and so on. These words, these in the first table, they do not give you an off meaning all the time. Okay, most of the time they will not give you off meaning. They will always be in nasab status, like this: qabla, fawqa, inda, amama, quddama. And the reason they are always in nasab state is because they don't make sense as a doer. Fawqa cannot be doer. Okay, fawqa is just above, right? Tahta cannot be doer, just mean below, right? So because it cannot show up as doer, doesn't make sense. So they are always coming up as detail, which is nasab status. Okay. However, there are other forms of these isms like ba'adu, kullu, ghayru, ayyu. All of these words, they are also special mudafs. They also expect a mudaf ilay, but they can be in all the statuses. They can be rafa, nasab, jar. These four, they can be rafa, nasab, jar. Okay. The thing that you need to remember about this is, first, of course, go through these words, read them a few times, look at their meanings, make yourself enough ready that if they show up in front of you, you are able to map, hey, this was in the special mudaf table. Okay, just like because the Arab said so story, you know those words somewhere in the mind that, okay, they are in the story, so they are always feminine. These words should also be in your mind. Okay, whenever they show up, you expect a mudaf ilay after them. So when you make a idafa with them, it goes like this. So, for example, you have fawqa, which is above, fawqa shajara, fawqa shajarati. Shajara is the tree. Okay, so it will translate to above the tree. It's not going to give you the off meaning. Okay, this is not off meaning. This is just above the tree. And these types of idafas are called the idafas with the special mudaf. The principle is the same. The mudaf is going to be light, no al, followed by jar. Okay, and mudaf ilay is also always jar. That's the only difference. So when you were very early in this course, in the first class, we did the definition of jar. So we said jar is a word that is after of. That was actually referring to this form of idafa. When the ism is in jar state, it is a mudaf ilay. Okay, in case of idafa. So this is the definition that you were told back in the days because you were just getting started with the Arabic language, and an easier definition that you can understand was necessary. So you were told the word after of is a jar. But now with special mudaf, you know, it still can be jar, but it doesn't have to be the word after of always. And maybe a more mature definition of jar is a word that is a mudaf ilay. Okay, so that is a mudaf ilay, it's a jar. Okay, and as you go along this route, you will find isms in jar which are not mudaf ilay, which are something different. And over time, you will evolve your definition of jar as well. Okay, is that much clear, everybody? With me, or I've lost you guys? Fatma is with me. Who else is with me? Ansa is with me. Yunha is with me. Very good. Excellent. Good job. Okay, so let's see if we have an exercise here. Okay, let's do this exercise because I don't want to start pronouns with you without making sure that you are on top of these things. So what we want to do here is we want to identify if this is idafa or not. Okay, we want to identify if this is idafa or not. Okay, so you are going to look at the words and you are going to find out if it is light no al followed by jar. That's what you're finding out. Okay, so I'm not going to do all of them, and you also cannot do all of them right now today because we have not studied some other aspects of idafa. So I'm just going to choose the ones which I think you can do. Okay, so your assignment for now at home is focused on the properties of an ism and probably not this one at this point. Okay, so let's look at number one. So I'm talking about يدخل الجنة. I want to know if it is conforming to the idafa construct. Light, no al, followed by jar. Based on that, you are telling me if it is idafa or it is not an idafa. So what's your opinion? The first one. Idafa or not?
Not.
Not. It's not idafa. False. Okay, because the word al-jannata is not jar. Okay, what about number two? Ba'san shadidan. Idafa or not?
Not.
Not. Okay. What about number 18? Ashab al-Kahfi. Idafa or not?
It is an
Yeah.
idafa.
Yeah, it is idafa. Ashaba is light, no al, and al-Kahfi is followed by jar. Okay, ashaba is a plural of companions. It's companions. Okay, ashaba. And al-Kahfi is the cave. So ashab al-Kahfi, the companions of the cave. Okay, why the companions? Because if the word after of is proper, the word before of becomes proper. Okay, number 17, yawm al-hajj. Idafa or not?
Idafa.
Idafa, very good. It is idafa. Okay. What about ayatillahi number 30?
Idafa.
Idafa, very good. True. Okay, so let me give you a little bit from this side. Okay, so what about number 7? Masalan, rajulaini.
It isn't.
It is not. And you want to explain why it is not?
Is it because the mathalan is heavy?
Correct. Very good. Because the mathalan is heavy. Okay. What about number 8? Kulli mathalin. Idafah or not? Number 8.
Idafah.
It is Idafah. Very good. What type of Idafah is it? Is it normal ism of relationship? Is it special mudaf? What do you think?
It's a special mudaf.
Special mudaf. Very good. What about number 24? غير نفس.
Idafah.
It is Idafah. What type of Idafah?
Special.
Special mudaf. Very good. Very, very good. I think you've got a good idea. So you can't solve all of them yet because there's one topic I still need to teach you, and then I will ask you to solve all of this yourself, inshallah. Your assignment for this week would be to just do the properties one, okay? So make sure that you read through the page that describes Idafah again, and inshallah take it from there. Now I need to teach you another topic before I can teach you the next phase of Idafah. We have 15 minutes. What is your state? Are you okay for us to start the new topic today? Or you want a break now and we start it in the next class? How are your brains? Tell me. No thoughts? Then I will teach. I'm giving you a choice. Okay. I'm happy to teach, no problem. Okay. Let me give you an introduction. So we are going to study now one of the most important topics in Arabic language, and that is pronouns. Okay? Pronouns is almost the backbone of the Arabic language. You see them almost everywhere in the Quran, almost every line of the Quran. Okay? Sometimes they are visible, sometimes they are hidden, but they are everywhere. So pronouns is so important that without pronouns, you cannot do isms any further. Without pronouns, you can't do fi'ls any further. It's such an important topic. Okay? So when you do pronouns, you should give them good amount of your effort and time to make sure you own them completely, end to end. Okay? So there are total 14 pronouns in Arabic. 14 pronouns in Arabic. In English, you know the pronouns are he, they, she, whatever, you, I, we, and so on. Okay? So these are the pronouns in English. In Arabic, we have 14 of them. Okay? So we will construct those pronouns. And before I do go towards constructing the pronoun, I'll just briefly introduce to you what are the characteristics of the pronouns. So pronouns are normalisms. They're normalisms. And we also learned in our type property, one of the elements we said is always proper are the pronouns. So the pronouns are always proper. Okay, they don't show you they never show up as common. Pronouns are always and always proper. The pronouns are non-flexible. They're non-flexible. Regardless of the status, they will look the same. So in some cases, pronouns can look different, but still they are non-flexible pronouns. Only context will tell you what is their status, rafa, nasab, or jar. Now there are two classes of pronouns. The two ways pronouncers use, or categories, or kinds, whatever you want to call it. So I call them as two categories, or two categories of pronouns. Okay, so the first category is independent pronouns. Independent pronouns are those that do not require any other word to exist. They can exist on their own. Okay? And the other category is attached pronouns, and some call them dependent pronouns. Okay? These are the pronouns that require another word before them to exist. Okay? Two categories of pronouns, independent and attached. Okay? Today we will start the introduction of independent, and inshallah dive deeper a little bit more into that until the next 15 minutes or so, and continue that inshallah in the next class. So another point about independent pronouns. Independent pronouns are always rafa. Always. Okay? They're always rafa. And attached pronouns are either nasab or jar. Okay? An independent pronoun cannot be nasab or jar. An attached pronoun cannot be rafa. Okay? They will always and always and always be nasab or jar, attached pronouns. And independent pronouns will always be rafa. So what we will do now is we'll construct a full pronoun chart. And this pronoun chart will require you to memorize it. Okay? To firm it up in your mind, and we'll do those memorization drills in the class. You'll have to speak up these pronouns, say these pronouns out, so we can be confident that we know this. Okay, so this exercise of pronouns is a lot about speaking and saying these pronouns to just firm them up in your mind, and whatever we do today, use the next week to firm it up before the next class. Okay, so what I'm going to do is create a table. Let's start with this one. So just like any other ISM, these pronouns also have four properties. They have status, number, gender, type, everything is same with these pronouns. So they also exist as singular, they exist as dual, and as plural. Okay, so they're 3+. So these pronouns will also be like this. Just like your Muslim chart, you had singular, pair, and plural. You also have pronouns singular, pair, and plural. So we are going to build this chart together, and inshallah try to retain it as much as possible in the class and practice during the week. Okay. The first pronoun is used lots of the time in the Quran, and it's called huwa. It's read as huwa. Okay, you may have heard read in the Quran like Qul huwallahu ahad. The word after Qul is huwa. Huwa means he. Huwa means he. Okay, that's the first pronoun. This pronoun is masculine and it's singular. Huwa. Okay, so I'll give you the first three and then we'll repeat them a few times so we can really install them in our brains and inshallah go from there. Okay, so the huwa is he. Then you have another pronoun which is huma. Huma, not your friend Huma or your cousin Huma or your auntie Huma. This is a pronoun Huma. That actually means they both, or both of them. They both. Okay, because there is no direct pronoun in English for this. Arabic distinguish itself by doing the singular, dual, and plural way of things. In English, you just have he and they. Now, in English, they could be two or more. But in Arabic, two is different and plural is different. So huwa, huma, and then hum. Huwa, huma, hum. Hum is they. All these pronouns, huwa, huma, hum, they are masculine pronouns. They are always rafa. They are independent pronoun. They are non-flexible and they show up just like that everywhere they show up. Okay, so the first four properties of huwa, it's going to be rafa, singular, masculine, proper, because they are always proper. Huma is going to be rafa, dual, masculine, proper, because they're always proper. Hum is rafa, plural, 3 plus, masculine, proper, because they are always proper. Okay, clear so far? Thumbs up, thumbs down? 1, 2, 3, good. Okay, very nice. Huwa, huma, hum. Then you have feminine versions of these pronouns. The first feminine, the singular feminine version of this pronoun is hiya. Hiya. Hiya is she. Just opposite to the huwa, hiya is she. So this one does not show you the dots. Perfect TypeScript. Yeah, it's right like this. Okay, here. Okay, so here is she. The dual pronoun in feminine and in masculine are same. Okay, they are also they both. Just like that. And the context tells you what is feminine and what is masculine. Okay. The plural pronoun in case of here is different. In case of feminine, it's different. It's hunna. Okay, they. All of these pronouns that you are doing, they are third person pronouns. So this is third person. And this is also third person. Okay. Somebody who's not here. Okay, you're talking about somebody. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. I want you all to memorize this. Okay, firm it up in your mind. You should be able to say them out without hesitation, without hiccups, without anything, directly through your minds. Okay, I have other students in the class who have actually produced tones and rhymes and songs out of these pronouns to help them memorize. They've made a tone out of it, and I'm going to share a few with you on the WhatsApp so you can listen to that, and maybe this will help you. My son also created a kind of a song about it. Of course, no instrumental song, so it's just words to just help them memorize this. Huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. So whatever it takes for you to memorize this, we have to do that. Okay? So huwa, huma, hum, hiya, huma, hunna. And then it's about masculine again. Masculine. Now we're going to talk about second person. Now, the second person pronouns, they all start with al hamza, noon, and ta. Ant. They all start with ant. Okay? So the second person masculine pronoun, first one is anta, which means you. Okay? Then you have antuma, anta antuma, which means you both. Okay? And then you have antum, which means you all. Anta antuma antum. Anta antuma antum. This is the masculine pronoun, second person. Okay? Feminines. Feminine pronouns in second person. What feminine does is it's exactly like anta, but instead of taking the fatha, it takes the kasra. It's anti. Okay? So the masculine was anta, the feminine is anti, you. It still means, of course, you, but it's feminine you this time. Okay? Anti, antuma in both cases is the same. Nothing changes there. Anti, antuma, and then antunna. What you are actually doing here is basically replacing this hu of hunna with ant. Like ant, and then you're saying the same thing, antunna. Okay, that's what you have done in almost everything. So what you have done is you've taken the hu, and in the opposite second person, you have replaced that hu with the antu. And you put the haraka what that was on the hu. In case of huma, you replace this hu with ant, and you put the haraka of the hu, antu and ma. In case of hua, you just replace the entire thing. In case of hiya, you replace the entire thing. Okay? So huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna. Okay, so this is you all feminine. And now the final one. The final one is the first person. First person. Now, in case of the first person, there are two pronouns for first person, which is I and we. The I and we apply to masculine and feminine, both. There's no distinction. Okay? So they both apply to masculine and feminine. And in case of we, there's no distinction in the dual or plural. We is we. If we are two people, we're still we. If we are 200 people, we're still we. Okay? So I'm going to merge these two together because the we one applies to both the dual and the plural. So the first person pronoun I is ana. And the first person we is nahnu. Nahnu. Okay? So this one is I and this one is we. Okay? So this is the pronoun chart. Huwa huma hum, hiya huma hunna, anta antuma antum, anti antuma antunna, ana nahnu. So I will stop here, inshallah, and my expectation is that you will come in the next class as much firmed up with this chart as possible. Okay, if you can say it out with your brain, that is fantastic. Okay, so we will start the class in next time, inshallah, with some drill of just saying it out loud from our minds. So I can make sure that you know this before I move forward and tell you more things about it. Deal? Is that all right, everyone? Thumbs up, thumbs down? Is it too much, too less? Very good. Okay, thank you very much, inshallah. Thanks for your patience and for your commitment and keeping on going. I know there's lots and lots and lots of information I'm throwing on you. And thanks for digesting all of this and taking it in. Inshallah, as we move forward, things will become easier. Okay, I will inshallah see you next Saturday. Stay safe and inshallah see you again. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum
Alaikum
assalam wa
salam.